1 and 0. Okay, welcome on to the Black Column Podcast. I am your host, Jabia, aka the Crew Philosopher.
And I'm Shannon.
Oh, I remember now. We did give you a nickname, Shannon. Remember? I was listening back to the to one of the previous episodes. We called
what
you.
Is it?
We called you Fake News Shannon.
No, that is not my nickname.
We are here again to give you guys another week of news on the Black Column Podcast. First and foremost, Shannon, how have you been, my friend?
Tired.
That didn't sound very good.
It's not, because I'm tired.
What are you tired from? Are you tired from staying up at all hours of the night trying to get your hand on a PS5?
I don't stay up to all hours of the night. I'm in bed by 11 every night. Thank you very much. Also, no, I just have a lot going on. You know, I'm studying. I'm getting certified to become a personal trainer. So that just
Hey, go ahead, Shannon.
I've just been studying that. It's a lot of science and biology. It's not fun, but that's what I've been doing.
Interesting. I like it. As far as I'm concerned, I've been pretty good. You know, I had some technical difficulties the other night, which kept me from doing a lot of work that I needed to do on the internet. I have no idea what happened. I unplugged my laptop, so I shut it off, and when I plugged it back in, for some reason, my browser would not connect with the internet. And so apparently something happened where I guess my laptop, like the time was off track, and if your time is not synced up to the correct time, it doesn't let you use your browser.
Really?
On my laptop, no.
That's weird.
It is weird. It said that you have can you update the time. I was like, what? Went into it, updated the time, then saved it. Worked like a charm.
Interesting. Okay.
Very strange. Very strange indeed. So I am. Well, it was a slow news week. Me and Shannon were kind of going through.
News week.
And doesn't it make you wonder how, in God's name, does like mainstream media keep on with the 24/7 cycle?
No, it does not, because they just talk about the same things over and over again. COVID. Yeah, that's the main thing that's going on right now. So they just keep talking about that over and over and over again, and they just pick different things within COVID and they talk about that. So that's how they can keep going over and over and over again.
Which is incredible, because I think you're doing a disservice. You're just freaking people out by just talking about the same thing day and night, 24/7, and offering no new information.
Yep. Well, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. There's nothing else going on this week, so that's what they have to harp on: COVID and the presidential election. That's the daily things that you hear about.
Which is what also incredible, because the presidential election is over. There is no longer.
I mean, it is over,
election.
But there's still something to talk about, because Trump still has refused to concede, and
he's not going to concede, by the way.
I know, but they're going to keep covering that as long as it's happening. Won't concede. Won't give the Biden administration any access to any information. Won't help them transition.
So petty. He's
petty, right? Those are the actions of immature people, which Trump is.
I agree with you, Shannon. It is extremely immature. It's funny, but immature, and a detriment to the country. Because now Biden's going to be going into this thing blind when he doesn't need to be. And look, man, now, I don't like the mainstream media's coverage of COVID. But that said, I mean, COVID is out here ripping through the country. Like, they called my house phone yesterday and my cell phone to tell me about, there are rising cases in your neighborhood. So please adhere to these guidelines to avoid catching the coronavirus. That's what I'm like, wow, it must be really bad, because they didn't call this house since this thing started.
Yeah. Well, it is bad. It's worse than it was before. So.
Yeah, I know, it's unfortunate.
But are there as many deaths as there was before? Have we been comparing the death rate to the daily infection rate?
Well, the problem is you have to wait around like 3 weeks before you get to the death rates. The cases just started really like peaking around, 2.5 weeks ago. So we should see by next week, whether the deaths are the same. Now, I'll be shocked if that's the case, because A, we have gotten slightly better at fighting this thing. B, the people getting affected now are younger than they were when this thing first started. Remember, around 40% of the coronavirus deaths in the first wave were nursing home patients. We're dealing now with, so pretty much the most vulnerable people kind of got wiped out in the first wave. So the second wave, you're dealing with younger people. No, you're still going to have deaths because, there still are comorbidities, and there are still some senior citizens left to kill off. But it should be a lower number than it was, when this thing started.
Also, Thanksgiving is next week. So this is just a reminder to be smart because they're expecting mass spikes from Thanksgiving. So, yeah, just don't be out there at your friend's house with your family, 50 people in your house. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
You have to be the biggest idiot in the world to invite people to your house for Thanksgiving this year.
Well, people are definitely still going to do it.
Once again, you have to be the biggest dumbass in the world to invite strangers to your house this year.
But no, not even strangers. Your family, too.
You have to be the biggest asshole in the world to invite your family to your house this year. Like, Shannon keeps changing the scenarios. Like, it changes how I feel. Anyone who doesn't live with you that you are inviting to your house, you are an asshole. And by the way, you don't really care about them that much. Now, that said, my position on this stuff is a little bit different from Shannon's, right? Me and her both believe this is real. Me and her, more me, take this very seriously. Me and her, I was not to get my haircut. Me and her believe that, I'm just saying. So me and her share, the seriousness of it all. That said, I do think that a conversation needs to be had about the personal and civil liberties that are being assaulted right now. And I'm very sympathetic to that position. Not only that, I would also, I think, side with individuals who believe that these civil liberties should not be dismissed even during a health crisis. That position is very persuasive to me. That said, I believe in appealing to people's common sense. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm like, yo, I'm not saying that you should get locked up if you host people over to your house. I'm trying to appeal to you right now, saying, you, watcher, listener, don't invite nobody to your house. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea for all the reasons in the world. It is a bad idea.
And people keep getting mad because they keep talking about like shutdowns or some states that have actually gone back into like a lockdown state. And then people are mad, but it's just like, it's happening because you guys are not listening. So
see this, I'm not sure, Shannon. There seems to be a natural pattern to this thing because, for example, I haven't seen a reduction in like mask use in New York City. From my
no, but it's not even about the mask use. I feel like a majority of cases now are coming from people and their gatherings. That has to be it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying there's no proof of that. Like, there's
no evidence, proof, but
there's no evidence of that being the case. Yeah. And so since there's no evidence, that's a theory that I believe might have some merit. But as of right now, I'm not, because remove Corona, Shannon. I mean, there's a reason why winter and fall are the flu seasons. It's because people spend more time indoors. There's also usually when there's more interaction between people. Schools is in session. That's when people are back from their summer vacation. So there's more people at work. So indoors, more people interacting with each other. Also the climate, and I believe in cold air without much humidity, it allows viruses to last longer in the air. Less sunlight, sunlight is very destructive to viruses. So there's less sunlight. And so that's why those seasons are the flu seasons and the cold seasons. So there was always going to be a second wave once the fall and winter months came.
Yeah. No, continue.
No, I was going to say, so that was always going to happen. And so I'm not sure if this is a behavioral thing and more so just like the second wave is always worse than the first wave, as it was back during the 1918 flu pandemic. The second wave was the one that killed millions of people. People forget that. The first wave was bad, but it was the second one that killed off all those Americans.
I was trying to find like an article that shows the percentages of like where most cases are being traced back to, but I can't find that. I actually don't even know how to word it correctly. So
you You would just Google where do people catch COVID, and it should pull up articles by epidemiologists listing places, and that's how I found out that gyms, restaurants, churches, and there's like one more that those are like prime breeding grounds for super spreader events. Anything came up?
Yes. So household is at the top.
All right then.
Household is number one.
Okay.
Because in your house, you're not wearing masks around the people in your house.
You're not social distancing.
Assuming that you're not rich and you don't have huge space, there's not a lot of ventilation happening. Number two is locations with shared breathing.
So that'll be like public transportation. Probably it'll be restaurants, gyms, schools, church.
And then number three is crowds, obviously.
Yes, no duh.
Schools is 4.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And then, yeah.
What's number 5?
Poorly ventilated indoor spaces. So your home, basically.
Yeah, so that supports your theory that most of this is being driven by people's small social gatherings inside intimate locations.
Nursing homes and hospitals are actually last on the list. And I don't really know if that's...
That has to be now.
Yeah. No, yeah. This article is from October 6th.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're looking at what's happening now, which I agree. The nursing homes and those locations are no longer where most of this stuff is being spread. It is being spread, like Shannon said, in people's houses, small social gatherings with friends, doing what people do. And so there's no law that you could pass that could really handle that. Like
no, because this whole like limit your indoor gatherings to 10 people. Like, how are people enforcing that? Like,
but even if you do limit to 10,
but but I'm just saying. But like, how? Like, that's a stupid thing to. I mean, I guess you just put it out there as a guideline, but there's no way to enforce that.
I mean, you can enforce it by having it so that if your neighbor notices that you're having a party, he can call the cops on you. That's kind of what they're doing in all of those Jewish neighborhoods down in Brooklyn. But my thing is, 10 people at your house, that's pretty much enough to spread the virus.
Yeah, 10 people is a lot. 10 people is a lot if you're living like an apartment, like a small apartment.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of people in your house at one time. So
you can have a pretty good night usually with 10 people in your apartment with some alcohol and a bottle.
Yeah.
So that's a weird guideline. I'm not really sure who set that up.
And first of all, New Jersey, I didn't know this, but like New Jersey just lowered their outdoor gathering number to 150. It was at 500 before. I was like, that's kind of high. Why was it ever at that number? 500.
I don't know what's going on. See, this is what I mean when I keep saying that people are blaming Trump for the coronavirus. And once again, he botched this thing. He botched it totally. But it's like everyone is acting like there aren't these various other entities that also played a role in not getting this under control. Because we discussed this before. The thing you have to do to get this under control has to look like an overreaction at the time in order for it to be the proper reaction. People don't understand that's the issue with exponential growth. You think it's a small problem and then you blink. And for those of you out there that are listening, exponential growth, if you didn't go to school, the math, it pretty much means I had the virus. I spread it to 2 people. Those 2 people spread it to 4 people. Those 4 people spread it to, 16 people, right? Exponential growth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me any math questions, Jabia. Don't ask me any math questions.
I'm pretty sure exponential growth means you times it by a number. So 1 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 8. 8 times 8 is 16. Yeah. 16 times 16 is 32. That's exponential growth. And so as you can see, it's still small, 32 people, then it's 64, then it's, but eventually you blink and it's 100,000 people. That's what happens with exponential growth. And so you have to overreact to get the right reaction. And look what's happening right now. Cuomo, who has been patting himself on the back for doing such a splendid job before, even though New York has the most deaths in any state, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. He's playing it slow. He is, okay, well, let's curve back here. Let's have these little zones. We are like a week or 2 away from popping. Like it's going to be Corona everywhere because he's not going to take the proper steps until he has to. Because the same way they was accusing Trump of caring about the economy more than he cares about lives, all of these politicians care about the economy more than they care about lives. And by the way, I'm not saying that's the wrong position, because you have to care about the economy as well. You can't just care about lives, because guess what? Poverty kills. If you can't pay your bills, and guess what? They suspended evictions, but that's about to run up in January of 2021.
Yeah, because there hasn't been a new bill passed. So yeah, everyone's my student loan payments are about to hit again. Actually, I just got an email about that. I was like, fuck. But yeah, so
also Congress is not coming back until after the break. So after Thanksgiving, that's when Congress will reconvene, and they haven't helped Americans. They haven't sent out any additional stimulus. And if you're going to force people to not work and make it illegal for them to work, you, by definition, you have an obligation to assist them financially.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of crap is that?
Ugh, it's really the whole back and forth, and the whole, like, the fact that so many bills have come to the table. How many bills have come to the table now that have been shot down?
It's been like 5 or 6.
It's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. They're like arguing on top of a pile of, I don't know. I'm trying to picture like the art in my head, like a whole bunch of dead Americans, and they're just sitting there arguing instead of like looking at the problem at hand. Like, I don't understand.
Well, okay, so this takes us to our first, our first topic here. The reason why they do that, Shannon, is because this doesn't affect them. Yeah. Right? This, whenever you read back on, the how the Constitution was ratified and the various arguments that took place between the small states versus the big states, and the Federalists versus the anti-Federalists, they were arguing about the best way to create a country that was as close to fair as possible for the various states that were signing to be a part of this union. And one of the arguments that the anti-Federalists had, Shannon, were having a Congress that is so far away from the people will eventually be corrupted because they can't relate to the common man. And to your point about the visual of Democrats and Republicans arguing on a pile of bodies, these people don't play by the rules that we are being forced to play by. You had Gavin Newsom in California, who got caught at some party where it was indoors. There was no socially distancing taking place. There was no mask wearing. They were just there having a good time.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi got caught going to that hairdresser a couple of months ago. She just tried to put on this banquet for the new members of Congress, saying that the White House physician okayed it. Who cares if he did okay it? I don't even care if the event is actually safe. You are supposed to be setting an example for the public.
Yeah,
people out there who are struggling, who can't get tested every day, right? Like I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan, and he's a private citizen. He's running his podcast, and the way he's been able to do it is he tests everyone that comes to his show, and he also gets tested every single day. Now, once again, if you are a rich person with a business, a private citizen, then you have almost an obligation to use any financial means that you have to keep your business going. So this is not a shot at Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing Joe Rogan.
Go
ahead. Sorry. Wow.
Oh, no. You go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that.
What?
No, I was saying. So Joe Rogan gets himself tested every day, and he tests his guests every day that come on his show, and because of that, he's been able to keep up his podcast. I don't have a problem with that. My issue is with these politicians who are getting tested every day or every other day, who have the means to stay home all day long. These are the individuals instructing us how to live our lives while also not living that, not abiding by the rules that they're setting, and then have the nerve to not be. They're not worried about sending out no stimulus check to Americans. You know why? Because it doesn't affect them. And when something doesn't affect you, I'm sorry, you can only pretend or fake that it affects you to a certain extent. You don't have that real hunger that the average American has right now. And that's why they don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And also, the reason I didn't want to talk earlier is because it was gonna take it off topic. I saw on the news the other day about how to have a safe family gathering for Thanksgiving, where they one family as an example of how she did a rapid test done for like her whole family before she has dinner. But I'm like, that's not a realistic thing to project to people and then they said that the cost of a rapid test per person almost $100, and I'm like, it's not a very realistic thing to project to people. So I just found it kind of funny.
Yeah, and once again, it's not hate. If you have the capabilities of doing that, then you should do it. Like, this is not me saying that rich people should not try to get back to normal, but it is me kind of, to your point, Shannon, about the unrealistic nature of this. We do have to have conversations that Americans that don't have a certain level of wealth. There you go, Shannon. I don't know where Shannon is at.
Can you hear me?
Shannon, what's wrong?
Wait, am I frozen?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Am I frozen?
There you go. I'm telling you, it's only when I
wait,
talk
really?
to you.
I couldn't see you for a second either. Wait.
Only when I talk to you, Shannon.
Wait, am I back? Am I back?
I mean, yes, Shannon.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Okay. So it was you this time. I told you. See, it's a combination of both of us.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
So maybe you should invest in a Wi-Fi extender too.
Okay. Back to my point. Yeah, so this is not me hating on rich people at all. I'm not hating on rich people. My only point about all of this is we have to recognize that there are tiers in this country. And here's what's starting to happen. The wealthy have a lot of their life back, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we are getting new technology, right? You already have companies selling at-home testing kits. No, they aren't the most accurate tests in the world. But, I mean, if you can get a test that is like 70% accurate, you can kind of get your life back. Test everyone that comes in, get your results in a half hour. The wealthy, the upper class, the elite, they are getting their lives back together. Their kids are going to private school, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
They're back in school. The rest of us, we can't get testing in a half hour. If you live in a good area, like New York City, you can get your results back in 48 hours. Most of our kids are in public schools.
A couple of hours, actually. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
A couple of hours, actually, now in some places. It depends on where you get tested.
Yeah, a couple of hours in some places. It depends. Our kids go to public schools.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have private schools where there are naturally less students there anyway, so they can socially distance more, or because the parents who put their children in the private schools have more money, they can ask the parents for even more money, and let's do even more things. We can hire extra staff, smaller classes, more spaces. You can just do more with private schools. Yeah. This is not me hating. This is me pointing out that, yes, the wealthy are getting back to their everyday lives, and we forget that all of our politicians are part of the wealthy. Nancy Pelosi is a millionaire. AOC is making bank. And she's been in Congress for what, 2-3 years? 4 years? I don't know how long. Like, this is the reality of what's taking place in this country. No one is speaking about this. And that is why they are slow with passing this relief bill, because they don't need relieving.
It's true. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah. And once again, notice, I didn't say Republicans this or Democrats that. It's both of them. Both parties are guilty of this, of not being able to relate to most of their constituents.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. What else do we have slated? Oh,
schools are closed. I mean,
schools are closing. Yes, schools are closing. Yeah. Schools are closing. Yes, we touched on it briefly. Schools are closing. So in New York City, schools are closing. I have no idea what's going on with the rest of y'all. No idea.
Well, not even New York. It's New York. It's New York City public schools. I learned that it's not private schools. or Catholic schools.
Yeah. Yes, New York City public schools, which I mean, the majority of children go to public schools, not private or charter or Catholic schools. So the New York City schools are closing. This may not be important to you right now, listening to this, where depending on where you are, but I imagine it will, especially if you live in like a democratic state or city. I imagine that you might find yourself in a similar situation in the upcoming weeks. Question, Shannon: do you agree with the decision to close the schools?
No, because schools, I think there's like a 1% infection rate in schools. That's what I heard on the news this morning, which is not high. And even from this list that I read before, schools are number 4 on the list. So naturally, I mean, technically, other things should be getting closed before schools, like gyms and beauty salons and all these other things. But I understand, but like everyone's concerned about the economy, which is why they didn't shut those things down first. But I don't think that school should have closed, because now this puts parents in an impossible position, because parents that are working, what are they going to do about their kids? You know, so it's just kind of hard. And I can't really imagine being a parent and having to figure out what you're supposed to do about your kid and what you're supposed to do about your job. And so no, I don't agree.
I've been trying to find the logistical reason behind closing schools for a while now, and I can't seem to find any.
They closed schools because closing schools would have the least amount of impact on the economy, I think, which is why they closed it first. But they shouldn't have. I think they just did this strictly to try to, not take another hit to the economy. Why are you looking at me like that?
But so why now though?
Oh, why now? Because
didn't the Bajo say it was because they hit like the 3% mark?
Yeah, well, we hit the 3% mark in the state, not schools.
The state.
Or the city. I don't know. Yeah.
Whichever. Yeah, now once again, I'm not somebody that's out there that much anyway, right? So before I say what I have to say, I don't want to make it seem like Jabia is out here in these streets around all these sick people, because I'm not. I really am not. I try to limit how much I go out. I don't want to be around people. I cannot imagine being in school. Like, for example, if I was in high school, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm. Well, high school is different, and high school is not as stressful on the parents, because if you're in high school, you can stay home by yourself, but it's just like, it's younger. It's the younger school.
Was this K through 12, or was it?
That was closed? No, I think all New York City schools are closed.
And so see, this is what I mean when I'm saying that there's no real plan, right? Mm-hmm. These people, we all assume that these people are smarter than us, like Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio. Mm-hmm. And this pandemic has shown me, Shannon, that if I cared to live a careful life, I could have been the mayor of New York City. I could have been president of the United States. I literally could have been anything I put my mind to. But you grew up with this allure that these people have to be smarter than you or more. No, they're not. They're just able to lie better than most of the masses.
And like you said, there's really no plan. I was also watching this morning that a lot of students don't even have the necessary supplies, like the laptops or whatever that they're supposed to be giving out. Not everyone even has those. So it's just like, I don't understand why this is happening when there is no plan and like there's not enough resources to go around. So like what's happening right now?
Take it one step further, Shannon. Here's what you have. If I was mayor of Bajo, like you said, high schools, I would keep open. Number one, high schoolers can kind of take care of themselves. Two, I think.
Well, no, I was going to say you can close high schools because the kids can fend for themselves. Like they can stay at home.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. I had the wrong point. Yeah. I would close high schools.
Yeah.
Like you said, because they can learn from home. They know how to use the technology more than the kids do. Parents don't need to be in the house to take care of them. So I'm with you. High schools, I would close, right? And then develop a plan for everyone else. So here's a couple of ideas. You can do something where now that you close the high schools, you can maybe have a situation where you divide the students between K through 8 up and use some of the buildings that are empty now from the closed high schools so that you can socially distance more among the students, have more space. For the teachers that were teaching the high schools, I'm sure they could teach 5th and 6th and 7th graders. At least half of them can.
Yeah.
This is what I mean when I talk about having a plan, being intelligent, viewing things from a different perspective. De Blasio is just out here saying 3%, if it hits the 3% mark, close down the schools. That's not helpful. To your point, if he was doing this because it would have the least impact on the economy, that's such a short-sighted way to view things. It's going to have a huge effect on the economy because parents are going to be forced to make changes to their job situation to take care of their young children, especially mothers.
Yep.
Mothers, nurses. This is changing a little bit, but nurses today are still disproportionately female, and so you're doing something where you might cause nurses to have to, I don't know, clamp down on hours or take a leave of absence from work. Now you have less nurses in the hospitals fighting the pandemic. This is a short-sighted way of viewing this problem. You have to view, to fight COVID, you have to view everything kind of like a monopoly board, right? All of these pieces are on the board. You have to navigate everything. You can't just say, you know what, the school, least impact on the economy, we're going to close down the schools. No. Kids have parents, you jackass.
Yeah.
What about the parents? But no. And then, okay, now here's the thing, Shannon. When does it open again?
They said that right now it's closed at least through Thanksgiving, but then there's no updates for what's going to happen after that.
Okay.
So we don't know when it's going to open again. But they said that minimum it's closed through Thanksgiving, which is stupid because I don't understand. I mean, so if they, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. They're probably going to keep them closed again after that. Because if you reopen them again after Thanksgiving, that's kind of dumb because what was the point of closing them in the first place, So I don't really know. I don't really know what they're planning on doing.
Is there any evidence that closing schools does anything to slow down the community transfer of the virus?
Because like I said, so the city hit a 3% infection rate, but the infection rate in schools is only 1%.
Yeah.
So like I said, the schools are not even the primary cause of the spread of the virus. So I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why the greedy mentality of why they close schools down, but I don't understand why they close schools first. I don't get it.
Once again, people, this is with the caveat that I understand not wanting to be around people, right? Now, if I was a teacher, okay, so view this, because I do think that the UFT has a big play in this, right? The teachers union in New York City. Would you understand their reasons for not wanting to teach inside? I mean,
I understand. So it's a hard situation because I understand teachers not wanting to endanger in their own lives by having to teach students. I get that too. But it's just I don't know. It's just a hard situation to be in because you're screwed if you're a teacher. You're screwed if you're a parent of these kids that have to go to school. I don't know.
Okay, so plans moving forward. If I'm de Blasio, then I put all my eggs in the vaccine basket, right? So then you have to include teachers and personnel in schools on the list of first to get the vaccine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? Offer them so this way they have some protection against the virus. Based on the data we see now, around the 90% protectiveness against the virus. This way, you vaccinate your teachers, you vaccinate your principals, you vaccinate your janitors, you vaccinate your lunch lady people. Then you can begin to reopen the schools, get things back to normal for the children. Children, statistically speaking, they do a lot better with this virus than adults do. Though, if you wanted to take it a step further, you could offer parents free vaccination of their children if they want it.
Yeah.
Or do you think that they'll go a step further and make it mandatory, like other vaccines are?
I don't know.
Is that the case for other vaccines? You have to have it to be a student.
For other vaccines, it is mandatory. So they might do that. So I'm just looking at how many. So do you remember how many doses of the vaccine they said were going to be ready by the end of the year? 50 million, right? something like
Remember,
that.
there's 2 companies right now. So you're asking.
Yeah. Well, the first one.
It was pretty much around that number, 50 or 75 million, something like that.
I think it was 50. I was just comparing. So I was looking up how many teachers there are in the U.S. and then I looked up how many nurses there are in the U.S. and then who else? Well, I guess it's a lot more when you consider all these other staff that you just went through. So I was just trying to add up like.
So how many teachers are there in the U.S.?
3.7, which is not high at all.
Okay. How many nurses?
It says there's only 2.86 million nurses in the U.S. though, so I don't know if that's true.
That sounds believable.
Really? I feel like that's so low.
No, remember, Shannon, you have like a couple of big cities, but most of the country is like small counties.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so like certain, like for example, most of the Midwest and the West, those are small hospitals, clinics, and so you have like maybe 3 or 4 nurses for like a clinic.
Okay, that makes that makes sense.
Yeah. So that for De Blasio, that would have to be a strategy. Vaccinate, do everything possible to vaccinate your teachers and then get them to open up and teach again. Yeah. But once again,
teachers and like all other essential workers as well.
Yes, but this is the caveat that I'm not coming to you, teachers, like I'm some bold man. I ain't going out there, so I get it. But
I also oh my God, I understand like essential people. I understand that it's a strategy to get people tested right away, but I just feel so icky about this vaccine. I feel so icky about it.
Because why do you feel icky about the vaccine?
Because it's just so new. It's just so new. Like I would not want something that has not been tested long term in my body. Like I just don't. Like you could freaking drop dead of a heart attack in a year. Because
but you can also drop dead.
Your inner organs.
You can also drop dead in a year from a heart attack because of the virus.
That's true, but you could not drop dead.
And you could not drop dead from the vaccine.
But that is true. I mean, I just feel weird about it because, like, even like, poof, virus is gone because everybody's vaccinated, herd immunity. But then everyone's organs start failing because there's something wrong with the vaccine, and then everyone starts dying.
So see, I share your anxiety because, like you, it's like we wouldn't really know until like later on.
Yeah. And I'm all about vaccines. I am pro vaccinations, but I am just not pro I'm not pro being a guinea pig. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I understand. And we wouldn't really know if this thing has long-term consequences until later on, which would suck. Because then you're like 50 or 60 dealing with the failed organ and, you're kind of out of here. Mm-hmm. There ain't going to be a whole bunch of people, doing transplants for 60-year-olds to get new organs. That ain't going to happen. They're going to be like, all right, well, we learned something new about the vaccine. You can kind of get these people out of here. Next. So I share your anxiety. But I also have the anxiety about the virus. Like, the virus is put like this. There's no upside to getting the virus. There's an upside to getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it difficult for me. Like, I want to be one of these long haulers.
Yeah, that
sounds. I didn't read in some of these things like this sounds awful.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. Wait, I have a question though. If you're a long hauler, are you contagious for that long, or do you just have the virus in your system for that long?
No. Well, I'm not even sure they have the virus in the system that long. They have the consequences of having the virus, right? And so,
but I think they also still have the virus in their system. That's what makes them. That's technically what makes them a long hauler, because if they test them, their test still comes back positive.
I mean, maybe, but remember that's not live virus. And so,
yeah, I know, but it's still in there though. That's why I was asking if you're still contagious.
I mean, I don't know. You're going to take fake news Shannon's word on that. But
don't call me that. That's not my nickname.
All I know is reading those stories doesn't sound fun. No. It sounds, to my people that say that they walked for 15 minutes one day and then they were in bed for the next 10 days. Mm-hmm. It's really hard stuff. And so I have to think about that. Do I want to risk catching the virus, or do I want to risk long-term negative consequences from the vaccine?
Oh, they have tested. Okay, they do test negative. They just still have symptoms. Okay, answer my question.
Yeah. Which I was fake news Shannon.
No, I wasn't saying that was true. I was just asking. I was just saying what I thought. I wasn't passing it as truth.
Yeah, and so I think I'm probably going to get the vaccine when it's available for the public. Mm-hmm. And I'm just live with whatever happens.
Okay. Don't turn into a monster, Jabia.
No, I feel like I'm the one in the movie who is immune to whatever the negative
Oh,
consequences
okay.
are.
Because you just think they. I don't know. I don't. I feel like your level of narcissism is just high enough for you to think that you would be that person.
But we all do that, right? Don't you think so? Like, for example, we all assume we're going to be the ones to survive this thing. All of us.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, so we all, to a certain degree, are narcissists. Until we get sick, we believe we're the guy in the movie who watches everyone else get sick, and we make it to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we do that, but that's kind of what humans do.
I guess so. Okay.
So yeah, that's enough on that stuff. So, all right, Shannon, let's see what you want to hit here.
I didn't put anything in here except COVID stuff.
I know.
So it's
I know.
you.
I know. I'm trying to see here. So how much time we have left? 20 minutes? Okay. So
20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm a Twitter user. Shannon is not a Twitter user. For some reason, she's on Instagram.
Oh my God. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Continue. Don't you just hate for those that work from home, don't you hate when people try to contact you from work after 5 o'clock? It's just so annoying. It's so annoying.
Oh, they're breaking company policy.
Sure. There goes my boss asking me if I can join a meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow when I specifically in my calendar have do not schedule me from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for any meetings. I'm not talking to anybody that early morning. Anyway, continue.
All right. Shannon's having all those problems. Okay, so so yeah, I'm on Twitter. Shannon is not. She is an Instagram user, which is very aggravating. But I will say this. Mm-hmm. So recently Twitter announced that they were going to be making some changes to their services, which okay, I was looking forward to this, right? A bunch of people were. There's like, is this the time where Twitter finally adds an edit button? Nope. So Twitter announced the introduction to fleets, which are temporary tweets you can send that disappear after 24 hours. Snapchat, really, for Twitter. That's all it is. I showed Shannon what it looks like on the iPhone when you're in the Twitter app. It looks just like Twitter with the circles at the top. Then you press the picture and you see something and it disappears. And so it's fleets that they announced, Shannon. They also announced that they are rolling out audio messaging for DMs. Game changer.
Doesn't Instagram already have audio messages for DMs?
Instagram does, but we're talking about Twitter.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Audio messages for DMs, right? I appreciate that because I like sending audio messages over texting and calling. And then the last thing, what happened?
I hate audio messages.
Why?
I don't know, because it's just annoying. Because then if I have to like strain my ear to listen to it, and then if I'm in a noisy location, I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna read this one. It is annoying.
Okay. And then they announced that they were launching a separate service where they would be allowing users to create rooms in which they will be able to engage with each other strictly with audio. And so there'll be these rooms. You'll have, your selected Twitter people, followers in there, and you guys can have a conversation with audio. Twitter was quick to have, people thinking, well, this sounds like Clubhouse. For those of you that don't know, Clubhouse is an up-and-coming app where you can do the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. That is what they were made for.
Yep.
Unlike Twitter, they serve no other function but that.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Clubhouse. Think of the concept. So Twitter takes steals their idea and implements it into their platform. And I started thinking to myself, how is this legal?
Well, like I was saying to Jabia before, as long as something in your code is different from the code of the website that you're stealing their likeliness or whatever, it's not illegal. Your code just has to be different.
Okay. That still doesn't help me answer my question, which is intellectual property. The spirit of it is that if I create something, it's mine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I create a new song. I create a new invention. I create a new project, a new video, whatever. Anything I create, it belongs to me. And so when Clubhouse creates their own platform and they create this model where users come on, they get into these various private rooms, and they have an audio conversation inside of it. And Twitter just comes and rips the exact model and just implements it onto their platform. I don't understand how that is not covered under the protection of intellectual property. All they did was steal the damn thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but like that's the same thing with, I mean, it happens all the time when you think about it. People take people's ideas all the time. If you have a great idea, it's not going to like, it's not like there's only one of any idea. There's like one idea happens and then people follow up with their own version of it. Like it happens all the time. It does.
I know that, but to me, it just seems like with tech though, there is a big difference. For example, you are allowed to buy various chairs, right? You are. You can buy chairs from Raymond Flanagan. You can buy a chair from JCPenney. You can buy chairs from a bunch of places you can buy chairs from. But the chair is a piece of furniture. It has a function. You would not be able to do that with music.
Okay.
Right? So Michael Jackson creates Human Nature. If you create something that sounds like Human Nature, he'll take you to court. And if the judge rules that, yeah, this sounds pretty much like Human Nature, you're going to be paying him royalties.
Yeah.
Tech seems to be closer to that than the chair. Because it's technology, it's creative, it's in that realm. But they don't get none of those protections. And it leads to these big tech companies having a monopoly on the industry. So Facebook did the same thing where people forget Instagram was its own thing.
Yeah.
Facebook bought Instagram. Facebook also tried to buy Snapchat. Snapchat wouldn't sell. So what Facebook did is they pretty much stole Snapchat's entire model and implemented it into Instagram, virtually killing the growth of Snapchat. Do people still have Snapchat? Of course, they do. But Snapchat is not where it was projected to be.
Yeah.
Twitter is going to do the exact same thing in Clubhouse. The exact same thing in Clubhouse. Because why would you go to another app in Clubhouse when you can do everything you can do in a Clubhouse on Twitter? You get to stay inside the app. It's various, way more users that you can interact with. And so Twitter actively, with this announcement, killed Clubhouse before it had a chance to even grow. This seems to be the exact thing that the government tries to avoid with their various monopoly laws and antitrust laws, but nothing seems to be happening here. And so we are under the rule of Facebook and Twitter and Google until we die. Because any new thing, they're just going to buy, steal the good parts from it, and then put them, remove them from the market.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, actually. I mean, I don't really know what the answer to this is. I mean, I agree with you. There should be better. People and companies should have more rights to their creations. I agree, but I don't know what to do about this. But I feel like Facebook and Google are getting sued all the time, constantly for stuff like that anyway. But I just don't know what these lawsuits are leading to.
I mean, the lawsuits aren't really helping anybody because they're teethless.
They're not. That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing you can realistically do. Give me 1 second, Shannon. I gotta switch over to. Shannon, can you hear me now? Shannon, can you hear me? Shannon, can you hear me? You hear me now, Shannon?
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. I had to switch back over. Yeah, so I don't know what the solution is either, but I don't even hear this critique out there, which is making me upset.
I know. I hear people complain about this a lot, actually. Not to the degree that you do, but yes.
On mainstream media?
Yeah. No, not on mainstream media. I'm just talking about people in general.
What I hear from mainstream media, which is even more depressing, they're talking about how we need to crack down on misinformation and disinformation. So what the mainstream media is doing, they want the government to crack down on these various media companies, these big tech companies, to get rid of quote unquote dangerous speech. And so we have a bunch of different problems happening at the exact same time. We have my problem, which is these big tech companies getting rid of all the competition. You also have the problem where the government is trying to use the big tech to squash independent media, politically incorrect conversations. And everyone is manipulating the public by lying about their reasoning. So the media doesn't care about misinformation or disinformation. That's not what they care about. The reason CNN is constantly talking about fake news and how we need to crack down on big tech, they are trying to get rid of independent media. So various news shows on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, people who don't have a boss, people like Kyle Kalinske of Secular Talk, David Pakman, even just to give some right-wing ones, you have Steven Crowder, the Young Turks, TYT. You have various independent news organizations that have larger, some of these companies have larger audiences than the mainstream media. That's what CNN is trying to get rid of. That's what MSNBC is trying to get rid of. And so they hide behind this, oh my God, we are afraid of fake news and disinformation, so that we can get the government to regulate these companies so that they can squash the independent media. That's their motivation. But I also can't go to the government to solve this problem, because do you trust the people who forced Edward Snowden to flee the country to be the ones to handle the big tech problem? No. And I also don't trust Jack Dorsey with his nose ring.
Are you saying that people with nose rings are not trustworthy?
Are untrustworthy. Absolutely.
Am I untrustworthy?
Yes, Shannon. Now I will add this. You don't have any real impact on my personal life. So me not trusting you doesn't really bother me that much. But Jack Dorsey, he's a problem. He goes to these Senate meetings with his hair all Moses-like and the nose ring in his nose. You got Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think
that has anything to do with your ability to do the right thing or not. I don't think that.
Yeah, it's everything to do. Rings, body piercings tell you a lot about a person. Yes, they do. Body piercings and tattoos tell you all you need to know about a woman.
So, and a man. So what does it tell you about me? Because I have body piercings and tattoos. So what are you trying to say? You are
extremely untrustworthy. Because
no, I'm not. What are you talking about?
Because your nose ring. You like pain because your tattoos.
I don't like pain, actually.
You do. You must like it enough to get a tattoo, Shannon.
I tolerate it. Barely. I tolerate it, but I do not enjoy it at all.
So you tolerate pain.
But I don't like pain.
You love telling people things about yourself.
No, I don't.
But no reason. You do, because you want these. You like these things being on your body to broadcast it. I don't know why. I know. So is it just the nose ring and the tattoos? Mm-hmm. So no tongue ring, no belly ring.
Oh, I had a belly ring in high school. Not anymore, though.
All right, fellas, Shannon's a freak. Now, for the rest, yeah, but they tell you all types of stuff. If she got a tongue ring, you know what that means. Yeah.
You're just stereotyping people. None of that is actually true about every single individual that has body piercings and tattoos. Boy,
I tell you, once a show, Shannon makes me does it. She makes me go to Google.
How are you Googling this? What are you Googling?
Women with tattoos.
What are you Googling, though?
I'm going to type in women with tattoos. I'm going to news. I'm going to see what it says.
Wait, now I have to Google. I have to Google with you so to make sure you're not lying about anything.
Matter of fact, let me put in, are women with tattoos. Oh, do women with tattoos have more sex?
What?
Let's see what happens here.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Ooh, Psychology Today. Are tattooed women really more promiscuous?
No.
Let's see. All right, so it says men think so. According to one recent survey, compared with ink-free women, men were more likely to approach tattooed women and more likely to believe that they were sexually available. Meanwhile, according to another report, women with tattoos are more sexually active, meaning they might indeed be more available to men. Bingo, Shannon. Bingo. Science, psychology today.
I feel like that study is untrue.
Of course, you feel that way. But back to my point.
I do feel that way.
Yes. Tattoos, piercings tell you all you need to know about a person.
No, they don't. Do not listen to Jabia. They do not.
Shannon, why did you get the nose ring? And don't tell me because you wanted it.
It is because I wanted it.
Why did you get the nose ring?
Because I wanted it. I thought I would look cute with it. And I do. So.
Why did you get the nose ring?
Because I wanted it.
But why did you want it?
Because I've always liked nose rings. I thought they looked cute. And
why did you always like nose rings?
Because I thought they looked cute on the people that had them. Why do you think I got a nose ring?
Shannon,
what are you expecting me to say? What answer are you looking for here? Tell me.
I'm just saying. A nose ring is not a usual piercing spot. Earrings are culturally normal. Even I have my ears pierced. You'd agree, right?
Yeah.
Ears are it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But tongue rings aren't normal. Nipple rings aren't normal. Clitoral rings aren't normal.
No.
Right? These are all things that you would.
Penis rings aren't normal.
Yeah, penis rings aren't normal as well, though men don't get those really. But look, Shannon, I think you got the nose ring because you wanted to look sexy.
No.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but once again, psychology today is saying something different.
Okay, but why did I get the tattoos?
Well, first of all, where are the tattoos? On your arm?
I have 2 on my arms. I have one on my side.
Okay.
I have one on my shoulder blade.
All right.
I have one on my other side.
All right.
I have one on my ankle.
That's like 6?
7.
Shannon, you definitely like pain.
No, I don't.
No one gets 7 tattoos a day. I
have a very low tolerance for pain.
That's not true, Shannon.
Yes, it is because I'm crying every time I get the tattoo. But I just
you kept going back.
Huh?
You kept going back. Why?
Because tattoos are addicting, and anyone that has a tattoo would tell you that.
All right. So why did you get the tattoos? Be honest, Shannon.
I got the tattoos just because I wanted a tattoo. Just because something meant something to me, and I wanted to put it on my body. Okay,
so the ones that you got on your arms, the regular public can see, correct? But yes, the ones you got on your side, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, you finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, the ones that you got on your side, people can't see that unless they take your clothes off. So why did you get those?
Just for myself, not for people to see it.
Okay, Shannon.
Oh my god.
All right, audience, who are you gonna believe, Shannon or Psychology Today? That was written by.
What's Psychology Today? It's like that study is not true of all people with tattoos. True of some people, maybe yes, but not true of the majority. It's definitely not true of me.
Hold on. I want to get this. French researchers sent 11 young women with an average age of 20 to various beaches in Brittany on hot summer days. All the women wore 2-piece bathing suits of the same design. Shannon, do you wear two-piece bathing suits?
It depends. I wear 2-piece and 1-pieces.
Okay. All right. They were instructed to spread beach towels, lie prone, read a book, and not initiate contact with men. During 1-hour observation periods at 20 different beaches, the women were tattoo-free. During other similar hour-long observation periods, they sported identical temporary tattoos of a butterfly. The researchers, 20 yards away, discreetly observed what transpired. Among women without the tattoo, an average of 11 men struck up conversations. Not bad. When the women displayed body art, the figure rose to 26. It took men an average of 35 minutes to approach women without tattoos, but those who approached women with tattoos did so after just 24 minutes. So not only do women with tattoos get more male attention, men are quicker to talk to them. Is that true in your experience, Shannon?
I don't know. Okay. How am I supposed to know that a man approached me quicker because he sees my tattoos rather than if I didn't have them?
Do you have girlfriends who don't have any tattoos?
Yes.
Okay, so when you guys go out, who gets more male attention? All right, Shannon.
I don't know. It depends on who I'm with.
That sounds like a me. Okay. Okay. Subsequently, on the same beaches, the researchers pointed out the women involved in the study, some tattooed, others not, to a total of 440 young men with an average age of 22. They asked the males if they thought the women would consent to date them and if they thought the women would be open to sex on the first date. The men were 20% more likely to think they could date the tattooed women than women without tattoos, and they were 28% more likely to think the tattooed women would have sex on the first date. So, are you saying that this research is inaccurate, Shannon?
Yes.
Really? Really, Shannon?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to see if there's anything else worth talking about in this study that Shannon denies, even though it's science. Believe science, Shannon. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so Shannon might be on something. It says, Polish researchers explored the issue in a recent survey of 88 young adults, both men and women, 60 of whom were ink-free and 28 of whom had tattoos. They found that people with tattoos are slightly more sexually active than the non-inked, but not enough to make any real difference.
Thank you.
Compared with participants without body art, those with tattoos had first intercourse a little younger. I lost my virginity when I was 21.
Wait, what did you say?
I said I lost my virginity when I was 21. How old were you?
No, but what was the last part that you said before that?
Compared with participants without body art, those with tattoos had first intercourse a little younger.
Those with tattoos had intercourse at a younger age?
Yes.
That's what you said?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any tattoos. I lost my virginity at 21. You have tattoos. I know it wasn't 21. Next. Had a few more lifetime sex partners. Check. Were somewhat more sexually active and were a bit more adventurous. I think all of these are true. Yeah, I think all of these describe who you are.
First of all, I don't know how you think you know this stuff about me.
I think this is true. And they had more sex outside their bedrooms. Check. This is all true. All this is true.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
You haven't pushed back on this at all.
That's because if I even push back on it, it's not like you're gonna believe me because you just think you know. You just have it.
Oh no, I lost my virginity at 21. Mm-hmm. You did not, correct?
Yes. That was the only thing, though. That's the only thing that you said. Wait.
No, I also said that. It says that so it says people with tattoos had a few more lifetime sex partners. I know that's true.
How do you know that that's true?
I've only had sex with 3 people.
Okay, fine, whatever.
And we're somewhat more sexually active and a bit more adventurous, i.e., sex outside the bedroom. I have never had sex outside of the bedroom.
You have to think about that.
I've never had sex outside the bedroom. So okay. I'm assuming that's exactly. So in this scenario, you have proven this stereotype to the T.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, it is what it is. I would like to thank the audience for rocking with us again for another episode of the Black Column Podcast. Yo, I love how you make me go to Google every time we do the show. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, as always, any last words, Shannon? Do you want to defend? First of all, do you want to defend yourself?
Like I said before, even though those things were true, I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I have tattoos.
Also, it's correlation, not causation.
I just don't think the two relate. I just think that it's I think that all those are general statements that could be said about any group of people. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay,
I disagree with Shannon's assessment 100%. I appreciate the Psychology Today article that was written by Michael Castleman. Salute to you. Yeah. And so for all you fellas out there, go after the women with tattoos. No. As always, you can follow me on social media at Cruel Philosopher. That's Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe, rate, and view the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Thanks for Shannon for reminding me to put that on there. It's up now, I think. And all of our information is gonna be in the show notes, emails, yada yada yada. We will see you guys on Monday. It is Shannon's turn. I will say this: I was listening back to the last discussion. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself a lot. So it is Shannon's week. So I have no idea what she has planned for us to discuss.
Oh my God, I had a topic. That I was gonna tell you about, but now I lost it. I don't remember.
Did you write it down?
No, I didn't write it down.
All right. Well, so she'll find something else, I guess, and we will see you guys on Monday. For those of you that don't listen to the Monday show, enjoy Thanksgiving. No strangers, just family. And we will see you next time.
Just your household.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Deuces.